I want to comment on the final two tasks of that I gave you in the previous video, because I think that they are more interesting, and task 1b can be solved in many different ways, but I think that most of them are not going to be correct. And for example, one thing that I can write here is my speed x to be equal to be a little bit decreased at each update, and that's exactly what we want. When the right arrow key is pressed to increase our speed, and when we release it to decrease our speed. So this is going to actually work kind of well, I think. And I'm holding the right arrow key, and as you can see, I'm able to overtake the enemy car while I'm holding the right arrow key. There is one problem actually, and I'm going to now increase my speed very much and let's see what is my speed now. Well, what is this number? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why did the enemy overtake me with such a big speed? I thought that I made the enemy be able to move only with a really small speed, like 3 pixels per update. I tried to overtake him now, and it appears that I need a lot of time. Let's see what is my current speed now. Whoa, I have such a huge speed now. I wonder where is the enemy car. Whoa! I overtook him, and that was nice. And let's see what is my speed now. It's decreasing, and I'm very happy that my speed is decreasing. Whoa, what happened? Why my speed is again a negative number? Actually, what I've written make my car not only to decelerate until it stops, but also my car decelerates even after it is stopped. So this line of code is executing always. It should be only executing when I'm moving. And actually, when I'm moving with a high speed, I should decelerate a lot. And when I'm moving with a slow speed, I should decelerate really slow. This line of code is not going to show all these effects, even if I put him in an if like this. Now I'm going to only decelerate only when my speed is positive, so only when I'm moving right. Let's see what is going on now. You can see that I am not able to reach negative speeds, or perhaps I just did, but it's a speed that is almost zero. So my speed is now positive. And now I'm not sure if you understand what this is. It's a number that is really close to zero. So my speed is actually almost zero. You can see that the enemy is really slow to overtake me. So this is kind of okay to decelerate, but not really. After all the problems that I already told you, I should point one last problem with this. The normal players are usually playing the game in this manner. They are holding the right arrow and continue to hold it, and actually they reach a maximum speed. And even when they hold the right arrow key longer and longer, they aren't able to reach 1000 pixels per update, or 2000 pixels, or 1 million pixels per update. In the current way that our code looks. As long as I'm holding the right arrow key, I am going to accelerate my car. And this has no limit. My current speed is 300 pixels per update. Each update, I am skipping half of the playing field. So I am totally not capable of seeing or avoiding any cars. Sadly, we should not let the player be so fast, so suicidally fast. We should limit its speed at about 20 or 30 pixels per update, which we can show as 400 kilometers per hour or 300 miles per hour or whatever you like. You can show to the player huge numbers, but the actual movement of the player should not be bigger than 20, 30, 40 pixels per update, because he will be able to jump over an enemy in the time of one update. He can be left from an enemy car before this update and jump right after the car in the next update and not even collide with it if you allow such a huge speed. So I'm going to show you a different way to decelerate that I think is much more realistic. One way to decelerate is to always reduce the speed just a little bit by multiplying it to something which is almost 1. This will actually reduce the number. Or by dividing it by something that is a little bit over 1, just like 1.01 is just a little bit over 1. So this is just going to decelerate our car just a little bit. And you can see that if I hold the right arrow key, my speed X can reach 20 pixels per update. If I hold it longer, I can reach a little bit more. If I hold it even longer, I actually decelerated because apparently I haven't held it long enough, or I released it for a while. I can easily print it on each update just to see what is going on with my speed. So you will see that what is going on with our speed is pretty nice. I started with 0 pixels per update, and this wasn't changing while I didn't press right. And now that I'm pressing right, you can see that my speed apparently reached its limit, and this limit is almost, but not exactly, 20 pixels per update. This can also be problematic or can also create bugs if my car is long 12 pixels and the enemy cars are long 7 pixels, because I will be able to totally jump over an enemy car, and this is not okay. You can see that when I release a key, my speed is quickly reaching almost 1, and now it slowly goes to total 0. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I move so slowly that I suppose that the enemy is going to overtake me. Perhaps after a while or pretty soon. I can see its X. Enemy car X, real enemy car X was the variable that I wanted to see, but I'm not able to see it, of course, in all of this spam. Okay, it's 36,000, and perhaps my X is bigger than this. So what I'm doing now is really stupid. I can see that I have to wait twice the time that the enemy was moving in order for him to not only reach X 36,000 but 73,000 where my player is. I don't want to wait so much. You can just believe me that sometime in the future the enemy will appear in the playing field. And I want you to perhaps fix my top speed. At least I have a top speed now that I have a nice way to decelerate my car automatically. But perhaps you should also think of a way to decelerate faster, like a braking system, and also combine all of these components, the enemy just overtake me. So combine everything so that the top speed is not so much bigger than the enemy top speed. If the enemy is moving by 5 pixels per update, perhaps our total maximum speed can be up to 10, so that it's harder for the player. So I want you to play with all those numbers that we've written in our code, so that you achieve smoother, realistic ride. But this is going to be your second task in order of importance. You have a more important task now, and I'm going to start coding about it. I'm going to delete this 0 here and add square brackets, and I'm going to do it here too. So enemy car Y and real enemy car X are now arrays. Enemy count can start from perhaps 3, but now I will have to have a code here that is going to create initial values for the first 3 cars. Of course, those 3 cars have indexes of 0, 1 and 2. So I not only have to give values to real enemy car X 0, 1 and 2, but also the same indexes for enemy car Y. And of course what I'm doing now is horrible solution, because do we have a better way to give initial values that actually are going to be different every time without so much copying and pasting? So create initial values for the 3 cars that we are going to have in the beginning. And instead of copy and pasting this line of code 3 times, perhaps you should also make this line in a for loop too. And then do we have a last part in our code that is ready for a single enemy car, but now that we will have an array of enemies, we will need to change line 24 too, in order to have a for loop drawing all the enemy cars. When we are ready with all of this, we will have a totally new task that perhaps you can wait for my hints, or perhaps you can start thinking alone about collision handling between player and enemy cars. I can give you an idea that, for example, when we hit an enemy car, we can greatly reduce our speed. This is going to be kind of realistic if we hit the enemy car from behind, because we really should decelerate when we hit something in front of us. It's not going to be so realistic if the enemy car tries to overtake us and hits us from behind. But it's again okay if the player is so lazy to be overtaken by a slowly enemy car. Let's decelerate him or punish him even more. So try to think of a nice way to cope with task 3, collision handling between player and enemy cars. After you are ready with cars staying in an array looped with a force instead of copy and paste or only one car that I had so far.